It's Sunday, June 18th, 2023. So I'm here at my out yard and I've just unloaded my little tractor. And I've got a load of equipment here that I decided to prepare for my out yard. And so I had to bring my little tractor to sort of set this off. Hold McNally.
Hello everyone. Lots of people have been asking, where are the bees going? Where are the bees going?
My out yard, that's where they're going. Ringo Starr, I get by with a little help from my friends, and I'm glad some of my friends are kind of crazy because it sure helps out. I don't know what to say.
Hopefully they'll bring you some honey.
I'm sure they will. You look at this place, isn't this beautiful?
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's right full of sweet clover and all kinds of different kinds of clover in here, and we've got the marsh just a half a mile over there.
And
all
I think
kinds
it's
of beautiful stuff.
Pretty good timing too.
We're just starting.
What I've seen come over here, so your flow is probably just starting to pick up.
Yeah, we're just starting. Just starting with the clovers and the wildflowers and stuff. We got to unload this stuff. These bees have been on this trailer a while. So James is just taking screens off, and I think they're going to be feisty, so he's all dressed up, smoker going and everything. Don't see him using a lot of smoke, so maybe they're not too bad. So you see a bunch of extra stuff here. There's 40 colonies of bees here. That's 8 more than I normally have, so that'll be, these two and those two. So the row is a little bit longer than it normally is. But I think this area can support it pretty easily. You can see what's going on here. This just started this week. Got birchfoot trefoil. The alfalfa is just gonna start to bloom here. There's purple clover, yellow sweet clover. So this is James's nice new equipment. So what we're gonna do is we'll let them sit here for a couple days to orient to the area, and then we're gonna come in and get my pallets, which are there and there. There's my covers over there. We've got brood chambers here, and because the bees are rather strong, we've got some seconds ready to go right here. So that's going to take us a while. We might want to split that up because it does take a while to transfer bees. So this is a really nice sight for sore eyes. And in case you haven't been following the saga, I'll fill you in what's going on here. I had a pretty bad, I won't say I had a pretty bad winter. I actually didn't have too bad a winter, but my bees contracted a pretty serious nosema infection, and they just kept dying off until, late May. I ended up with about a 75% loss. And I met James a year and a half ago, I guess, eh?
Something like that.
It was in the winter before last season. So we got to know each other a little bit. He came in last May 2022, and we visited a bit, and kind of hit it off. We became pretty good friends. And so James is having kind of one of those good problems where he's running out of equipment. His bees are exploding beyond his equipment. So he took that opportunity to take that good fortune and box up some of these bees and bring them over to me. And I'm still kind of speechless. He's a little bit nutty, but nutty in a good way. Because it's what was the drive? Was it about 18 hours or something?
Yeah, 18 hours. Well, you got a few bees now.
I got a few bees now. And I wasn't going to fill this out yard this year. It was just going to be one of those years, well, I won't have bees here. And this makes a beautiful honey here. I mean, the forage that you see is so diverse.
What a beautiful sight. Well, all 40 of them, looks like they made it all right.
It looks like. Well, maybe I'll take you home, I'll feed you breakfast, and then we'll decide what we're gonna do.
Heck of a plan.
All right, we're gonna get that little tractor loaded up, and then we'll get out of here. It's Monday, June 19th, 2023. And so we dropped off these hives yesterday, and old McNally's down at the end there. What we're planning today is we're going to use my pallets and my boxes, a bunch of boxes here. We're going to transfer all 40 of these colonies over to my equipment so he can take his nice new equipment home. I've also got this pallet and this pallet are for the most part drawn comb in case we need to double up any of these right now. He says they're pretty strong. I haven't seen in them yet, so I haven't made that assessment, but he says they're pretty strong. So it's warm now. It's about 9:30, and it's said to be about like 34 today as a high. So this is going to be a really hot day of work, and so I want to get at it. We're not out here real early. I wish I could have got myself out of bed earlier to get at this, but it is what it is, and we're going to get to work here. So I'm going to work old McNally really hard today. So yeah, so very simple. All we're going to do is set that pallet behind, put the boxes on it, move those frames back into the box behind it, and I've got another lid. We can put the lid on, and we'll get that right up tight here so that once these boxes are gone, any stragglers on the bottom board will walk in there. And then we'll probably do each one on this side. We'll do this one, and then we'll do this one, and so forth. And after those stragglers are gone, we'll move that pallet, and then we'll put another pallet here, which will be in the front, so we'll have to deal with stragglers. Just so that everything just moves, one pallet width to the east, because we don't want to run out of space here. We got a lot of colonies, so we have to kind of do it right. We don't end up carrying things a long ways. Okay, we have 40 of these to do, and I got to stop talking and get to work. What do you say?
It won't do itself.
It won't do itself. Well, we're half done, and boy, is it ever nice to have somebody who knows what he's doing here. I don't have to constantly be holding his hand. He's out working me, actually. So we're half done, and we've got pretty much all of the equipment on the trailer that we're taking back. And these bees look really good. We haven't really shown much about the bees, but they're looking really good. Most of them we're looking at 5-6 frames of brood in most of these. And so we're filling them out. I have some drawn comb here. We're filling them out. So they should take off here right away. They're going to make a honey crop, and that's the whole idea. This is a nice yard. This yard makes great honey, and a good quantity too. There's usually a good yield here. So back to work.
I was just saying, this is a beautiful sight. You take a look down the side of these boxes, and all you can see is just hundreds and thousands of bees all in flight. So what a great thing.
I thought Jimena was two tired old men. It was a beautiful sight. Well, one tired old man and one old McNally.
Well, soon we keep this up, we're going to be like those grumpy old men.
So here's the long line of 40 colonies here. And yeah, people are thinking, oh, don't they drift? They do drift. I always get more honey at that end of the yard here. I think because a lot of it comes from that direction, way over half a mile over there. So we'll get, we'll get up to 4 deeps of honey over there. We'll get 3 on this end, maybe 2 right at the end. But what are you going to do? It's a borrowed space, and I don't want to be a nuisance spreading my hives out all over the place. It looks like I got them farther from the fence this year anyway, so I hope that's not a problem. They're all transferred, and we're ready to go home. The guy who always has something to say.
There you go.
So we got James McNally in the honey house coffee room with the man here, and of course me behind the camera. So just wanted to prove that James is actually here.
I did actually make it to Manitoba.
He's been bugging me for a while. Let's go see Ian. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't get you both in the shot. So that's not going to work. So give us some wisdom, Mr. Pepper.
You've come to the wrong place then.
Okay, give us some bullshit like you do on your channel.
I'm going to show you some BCBs. I'm going to take you out, and
Right
they
on.
look fantastic right now. Yeah.
Right on.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Then I have a queen to drop in one of my yards, but I just went through a yard and it went queenless on me, so I'll take you down to see another yard too. Yeah, guys are putting on boxes right now. They're kind of grumbling that I come back, taking a break. What do you mean you're heading back? I'm the boss, I can do what I want.
Yeah, back to work.
Back to work.
Poor Ian's been putting these BC packages and stuff he's been getting, but I've been sending him messages, you need some Alberta stock to round that off, top that off there, right? A little Alberta stock.
That'd be really grouchy bees.
Thanks, Ian, for coming in from work to have coffee with us.
Kept going a 20-hour drive for us.
Yeah, you're not... Oh, they're drawing that out
Drawing
nicely.
that out already. Boy.
Nice white wax hair.
Yeah, we have a flow. Trying to start to crack the whip and getting these boxes out. Which queen do we have? Yeah, this is an Emily Huckster queen again. It's honey.
Nope, she's on this side. Right in the center.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful? Exact same color. Beautiful queen. So this is full of nectar. Let's see what she has.
So does she select for anything in particular?
This is the first time I've received her mother, Liz. She's been breeding bees all her life.
So what do you got there in the center?
Just an annoyance.
Oh.
Right, full of brood.
It's empty.
That foundation's drawn out too.
This one here is a lot of white on the top on this side.
That's full of brood. I'll go through all these yet, and I'll pull these little cups down, or sometimes
Just to
they'll-
make sure that they don't do something silly, eh?
Yeah, and they do. Like 1 out of 10. You're like, what are you doing that for? So then you pull them down.
So we were trying to figure that out. I was wondering,
What about this?
Brad and I were talking, I wonder how much stress that trip puts
Gotta
on
be-
them.
Yeah, I
right?
think that's why they do it. They blame the queen.
They probably weren't stressed till they hit the roads here in Manitoba.
They're easy sailing. And
Up until then they were sitting back in the lounge here saying, "Hey, we're going on holidays."
Yeah, so on that first hatch of brood, I'm gonna have to have boxes up on top. This queen just failed. Too many bees to shake them out.
Look at them smell that queen.
Oh yeah. And they're fanning already, so that's a good sign.
You better not kill her off. This is what I like about single boxes is you can let that queen, yeah, she's got this right laid out. You can keep the growth of this colony, grow them into 2 boxes, and as soon as the honey flow hits, they're storing honey for you within an instant that you're going to be able to collect, right? You push her down, let them fill it back up.
You shake them all down?
I shake them down.
Throw a queen excluder on and away you go.
Put her in and then come back. But that honey they're bringing in right now off that clover, I'm going to be harvesting that.
Keep it separate.
Or just, if I was running doubles, I put the excluder and then up on top, and then I'm missing all that honey there. Oh, it smells garbage. I need your tops, Brad.
Too bad you don't have any new ones.
Yeah, I have some pretty rough equipment here.
We'll take care of that.
Yeah, that one's just about missing a wall.
That one's going to collapse.
I don't put honey supers on that.
Yeah, so I'm a little more optimistic than I was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, this isn't looking too bad.
Yeah, she's coming along.
You probably bet you wish you were about 3 weeks ahead of this though. Especially being this time frame and everything that we're looking at.
I'll take what I can get. That's where I'm at right now. This is put on today.
Oh, so they've moved right up.
They're up there, yeah. They're going through that excluder quite nice, so they'll be storing nectar there as soon as it starts coming in. Yeah. So we put that on today, and once the crew comes in next week, we're going to start shaking these down.
Throwing the excluders on.
Get these bees over the top, down below, get those excluders in, and then add thirds right away. This tells me I put this queen in 19, and there should be a tag here for our own because we raised our own that year. So it's one of our own, and code 6, which links back to one of our breeders. And the only reason we do this is just to find trends if we have a bad breeder in the bunch, or if we start seeing common themes to a certain code, then we know that grouping we're not going to select from again. That's why.
And it probably gives you a heads up to say you got to start watching that grouping. You probably have to be replacing that.
That's right. So that's the reason why we do that with the breeders. But we mostly watch the age, and then when we're selecting for our breeders, one thing that I look for, maybe not a lot of other guys do, is longevity and how long this box stays in production without me having to go down and work with it. A lot of guys will go replace queens every year, which suits a lot of style with mine. I want them to figure the problem out themselves, so I look for longevity. So we're going through finding your breeders.
Like 2019, that queen's
been there for a little while, so there's been succession in there, right? And sometimes we'll bring them back as far as 16, so they 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 times they've succeeded.
Got her.
And we look at that longevity, but we also pair it with performance. And the performance of the hive, every time that they provide like success in the spring, we give them a nice blue tag. Usually that means we get a full split off them. So this one has had 1, 2 consecutive years. Except for this year. This year I just wrote everything off.
Right.
But that means we're looking at the success, continual success, and the succession within the nest. So I'm looking for a successful succession all the way through. So that's how I track all that. That's the information I need to know. Yeah. And if there's something that we see that we like throughout the year, we have these great big tacks and we just stick it in the front as a flag.
To give you a heads up, like,
so
watch this one.
We're looking through for our breeders. We're looking for the decorated colonies is what we're looking for. And then when that colony fails, all tags off except for this one here.
So then you know what year.
Yeah, we know that one's failed. Something's done something that
So for example, these ones here got no tags on them.
Yeah, so they haven't shown any performance. So we probably won't.
And those are your own queens.
Yeah, so this is last year's queen. And we actually didn't grade the queens this year because everything in my apiary was garbage. So we just
wrote it off, start from scratch.
Yeah, we didn't pull tags, we didn't do anything, we just left them just because everything was in hardship because of some other reasons. This one, we're missing tags. This is probably a 17.
Got her.
in here, right? So it's been going for a little while. So, but guys that move their bees, like migratory, can't do that. They need a refresh every year, right? So I'm not sure if you move your bees every
I
year.
don't, so, but I've been trying to refresh the queens every 2 years.
Yeah. See, when you move the bees, you have to know that that queen's not going to be replacing itself. When they're trying to switch that queen out in there, you put them on a truck, take them 10 miles down the road, set them down. You just interrupt that process. The hive's dead. Right?
Everything's all
Yeah.
got to start from scratch
So you
again.
need that young queen in there, and you know that she's not switching herself out. So there's, you know, guys are trying to follow the way I'm doing things, but it doesn't work sometimes because they have different factors that come into play that have to pay
Different
attention
management
to.
techniques.
Yeah. But it really works good for me. I just, like I'm talking about pulling a massive honey crop by using singles. I already have them up here.
Yep.
And, you know, I'm still managing my brood nest, but we just had the honey flow come today. And I'm instantly building my honey crop, which I'm then going to push them down into that bottom and then take that second as my
Your
my
first honey
harvest.
box.
That's exactly the reason why I managed in, well, one of the reasons why I managed in singles is because I'm maximizing my honey crop that way. Yeah, more work, right?
Yep.
You got to manage the nest a little bit differently and maybe more intensively, but you gave that extra box of honey, and they flip that over, they'll fill the second box up just like that.
Relatively quickly, yeah.
Because that nest naturally capsules that, and as the boxes go up, right, and then that you pull the boxes, boom, they fill that right up
back
again. Yeah.
So we did some grafting the other day, and James is going to open up this Queen Rate cell finisher, and we'll see what we've got. We'll transfer it to my little case and take it to the incubator. All right. So this is a nice strong double deep with a queen excluder in the middle. We work rather carefully because we don't like to use a ton of smoke here. And we did get a good rain this morning.
Yeah, they might be a little grumpy.
Maybe a little grumpy and everybody's at home.
I think this is your...
That's the frame. So it's not terribly warm out, so we won't spend a lot of time counting cells, etc. We'll just get the job done here. Got a few here. So this has been 3 days. 24 hours was yesterday. Oops.
We're going to see if I can graft in Manitoba.
Yeah, these Manitoba queens. Maybe it's not my problem. Maybe it's, you know, if this one fails, then I'm justified. Because it's not just me.
But interesting here, we put a pile of pollen patty in here.
Quite a bit.
And there is very little left.
Very little left.
So that's a good sign.
I think it's also a commentary on the fact that we do have a pollen flow, but it's not real strong. Again, queenless colony here, queenless cell starter, and no smoke. So you need to mind your manners.
I'm just going to come up here so we can see as we pull these out.
Now I left my brush over there, but that doesn't matter because I can transfer these bees and all.
New bees.
The only, you know, the reason you'd want your brush is so that you can kind of get your count and pat yourself on your back if you did well. So this is looking good. We've got one miss here, and otherwise we're good. See, these are getting right down to it. These are beautiful looking cells. Look how full of jelly they are.
Nice long cells.
Long cells, white wax. White wax, that's really important. So I'm just going to walk those right over. We're going to put them in the Queen Rate finisher. Real beekeepers do it one-handed. Seth says real beekeepers do it in the rain. Okay, down they go. And I've got this detailed on my calendar because these sat in the starter longer than they needed to. Obviously it wasn't a bad thing. Then they'll be coming out of here a little bit quicker. I'm going to shake these bees off because there's no cells on here anymore. So I'm just shake those back in there. What I just put in there was Monday's graft, and this one is Tuesday's graft that I'm going to pull now.
And we have no idea what we got on this one.
No, we haven't checked. This is real time. And this is James kind of showing me his process so that I can take what I need to improve mine.
Watch, we'll pull this out, there'll be nothing on there.
Well, again, it's real time, right? So live or die, you're going to see what's what. Okay. There's a miss here and a miss there. Miss there, and that one's a bit stumpy, but this one's more mature, which, you know, maybe it was a bit older larva. So that can happen. So the difference here, this is what we did between the graft that I just transferred and this one. That graft was either clean recycled cells cups or was new cell cups, and this graft was cell cups that had been in this starter for 24 hours to clean them, to prep them, to polish them, whatever people want to call that. So we're just kind of testing that theory. And again, I'm taking that bees and all. You don't want to shake that. There's no reason to brush it other than curiosity. And I'll walk it right over to that cell finisher. So I was saying the Queen Right finisher, it's really just a nice strong double with a queen excluder, queen in the bottom, of course. The only other thing that I do, and I haven't done it in the last few days, I should do it again, is I'll pull open brood from the bottom, put in the top, and cycle the sealed brood into the bottom, just to encourage the nurse bees to come up in here, produce lots of jelly around where my cells are. It may be a theoretical difference, but it's pretty easy to do.
We're going to graft from this one.
A lot of people do their grafting in their vehicle, truck or otherwise. I got the heater cooking in here at 28C. James is just prepping up to do some grafting. So this is the third bar, and I've been putting them in here sequentially as we graft, as James grafts. I think I should have started with the bottom one, but
it's interesting to see how they're already feeding those cups.
Oh, they already right all over them. Yep. Yeah, they smell that and they say, hey, because again, that's the only larva in this nice populous, queenless, populated with young bees colony. And we're going to refresh the patties. I'm using some leftovers that I have. I think it's probably best to put the patty right on top of the graft frame. I find that a nuisance when I want to come and check my graft frame, so I put it right beside. Now we need to feed, but I need to mix some syrup. So I just mix a light syrup, 1-to-1 by weight. It's Friday, June 23rd, 2023. Again, 2323. Now, I find myself all alone. I've been in the company of James McNally for the entire week, since Sunday morning. He just left this morning, so I hope he has a good trip home. He's got a big load on his trailer, and he's been dreaming about putting honey supers on his colonies while he was here. We had a really good time. We put a lot into the days that he was here, and so we're both really tired. I think I'm far more tired than he was. He's a pretty high energy guy. So I'm looking at one thing here. I'm looking at my cell builder. my cell starter in particular, and I'm going to check that because he did a graft into that yesterday, and I want to see, he's anxious to see how his take was, so I'm going to check that so he knows what his take is right away. And related to that, I have, I believe, 22 cells in my incubator right now, so I need to get busy here and make 22 mating nukes. Now I make my mating nukes with my little wooden 4-frame box for a few different reasons, not the least of which is I have plenty of them. And also they have I put an entrance disc on there that I can close so that I can, when I make the nuke up, I can take them into my building for 2 nights and bring them back without drift. And there are those who insist that the bees still drift, and I'm sure they do, but in a practical sense, it's not a problem. I don't have a problem with that. I don't lose the bees because it's my apiary, right? And so theory is theory and practice is practice. And in theory, there's no difference between theory and practice, but in practice there is. Simple as that. And so if a method works for you and it works to the degree of your required success, then it's a success. And that's what I'm working on here for my operation. And I love to learn new methods, new principles, but they have to be applicable. I have to apply them here. You know, take a hard and fast principle like something that you can do this and you can't do that. There are very few can and can't do's in beekeeping. It's degrees. And sometimes those maneuvers you do maybe not cut and dried, but they work successfully enough that it allows you to move forward. And that's the whole point here. The whole point is not to meet the letter of the law academically. It has to apply in a practical sense to the bees and the bottom line of the apiary. So that's the main target today. I'm having a hard time looking at the screen. The white building is behind me, or behind the camera, and it's a very, very sunny day here today. I can hear the buzz. The bees are alive with the sound of a buzz. And there's not much more to say than I just need to get to work. So come along and we'll make some nukes together today. They've taken a quart of syrup in less than a day because we did this graft. When did we do this graft? Actually, I don't remember what time of day it was. Everything's a blur. They're all over that. They're definitely eating the patty that we gave them. And again, I don't like to use a lot of smoke in this situation, so you really have to mind your manners. Okay, well, there's bees all over them, so that's a good sign. We put 45 cells in here, 45 grafts. There's 15. There's one miss. I want your head to swell, James. There's 2 misses. Well, you got room to improve, buddy. That's 2 misses out of 45. So we'll leave it at that. I could move those soon over to the finisher, but I'll likely leave them in here till at least tomorrow. 24 or 48 hours. It's all good. I'll stop playing and get to work now. I have 18 what Phil calls zombie hives, and I think that's a good term for these. And again, if you're not following the saga, these are just colonies that were failing still have technically a mating laying queen, but they're not going anywhere. There's something wrong with them. And so I just keep them around to lay some brood for splits and mating nukes. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look through these. If the queen is laying well, then I'll maybe steal a frame or two of brood from her. If not, then I'm going to pinch her and use what resources she does have, make up my mating nukes out of these. And one of the reasons I'm starting here is like I'm obviously not going to get 22 out of these, but I'm starting here because this is the equipment I need for my mating nukes, so it'll free up some equipment for me. So let's look in this first one and see what's going on. There's a bit of a population here. They've been kind of sitting here for quite a while. And, you know, there's a brand new frame there that they haven't even touched. You know, she's got some brood. There's pollen there, there's nectar there. I don't know that there's anything on that side. I didn't bring my light over here. Right, so she's actually laying. She's actually laying pretty good. And I may just steal a frame from her. I'll steal a nice frame of brood and bees. I need to find her. And then I'll let her continue. And there she is right there. She is not marked. Right there. So I'll put her over on that side. And I'm going to be ruthless here. I'm going to take those other 2 frames away. And that'll actually make 1 mating nuke. Although I don't have a box handy for them. I'll go over and get one. I just want to separate these bees from the queen while I know where she is. And we don't have a pronounced nectar flow, so I can leave this with 2 frames for a little bit, as long as I don't forget that too long. I need to fill that up. So when I built these, I built them with that entrance disc I can close so I can relocate them, and a screen bottom, so they're just for ventilation, to try to keep them from overheating while they're in the building. So I'll put those 2 frames in here. I'm going to scrape the end of that off the screen. The screen sits right at the bottom of the box, so there's no room for this sort of thing. So I'm hoping in doing this that whatever's wrong with these hives doesn't translate over into the new hive and queen that I'm making out of this. That would be kind of goofy, wouldn't it? Biosecurity is always a big consideration, and it's a lot of work sometimes. You have to do this and you can't do that. And you take shortcuts, and then your world comes crashing down. Okay, so again, I need 2 more frames here. I need 2 more frames there for that nuke. And that is exactly why these are here. To steal resources. Steal resources from them. So there's the 22 mating nukes now. And I've used up all of my little wooden boxes. There are more wooden boxes that I can build these nukes out of. I just have to install the entrance disc, drill a hole for that, put the screen on the bottom, and then the little feet. I may just take some time in the wood shop to do that because I really like using these for mating nukes, and I have a lot more cells coming out here pretty quick that are going to need mating nukes. So these are going back in the building, and what is it? It's Friday, so Friday and Saturday night, and on Sunday they'll come out. I'll set them up over here on a new stand, which means a pile of pallets, and for mating. And then at that point, I need to check them for cells. Was it volunteer cells? I think Randy called it. Rogue cells. And then I can put my virgins in. I think I'm cutting it rather tight because I think my virgins are going to be emerging Monday. So it might be pretty quick after getting them out here that I get virgins in them. So I hope everything works well that way. I try to have them ready a little bit farther ahead than that, but this week got away on me. James and I were getting up to all kinds of shenanigans, as he called it, so I didn't get some of my work done. But we got a lot of other work done, so I was thankful for that. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing with that. Thanks for watching. Take care and have fun.